out for us to really see this other side of Brent. I was like low-key turned on by that.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're here to give you guys the review of Ready to Love, baby. Listen, are you mad, and lean, gay? Listen, you ain't got the minerals, baby. You ain't got the minerals. Listen, we're going to get into this review. Make sure you like, share, subscribe for those who are new. And for those who are returnees, we really appreciate you. Keep liking, keep sharing. We're trying to take ourselves to the 20K this year, hopefully by the end of the year, baby. But listen, I get and your money, lean. It's hot up in this kitchen. Chile, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out. Chile, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out. Chile. I thought what was interesting for me is that, first of all, I think everybody knows Brent is the second choice. Okay? Now, it's not a bad second choice to have, but Brent is the rebound. And I pray that if Brent watches this, it's not a beef, and it's not to hurt his pride or ego. But as he mentioned himself, he is the second choice here.
Real.
Yeah.
I'm in second place.
I did have a stronger connection with London, right?
Yeah.
And so that you made me question that.
Bear in mind how close it's been since she just left London. It wasn't long ago. Now, and the way that Alexis has played the game shows to me that he's second choice. Because she hasn't played it so openly as she stated. What she has played it openly with pawns in the game. That's a different game to what I feel people normally play. Right? Like Mario also kind of played it same way where Reva became a pawn rather than actually a game player. London, I would say he kept it a little bit more open in the sense he had two viable choices, and I think more the choice for London was more of a case of whether he goes with his ego and the youthfulness of it, or whether he goes with, actually, I'm going to settle down and actually choose a woman that's solid, and actually I would actually have a long-term relationship with. Remember, I said this to you about London. I said that Divine and Alexis are two polar opposites in terms of where you want to go in life. And I always said Divine is the right choice. If you don't choose Divine, that's your business, but you're affecting yourself. Cool. Back to Brent and Alexis. When Brent, obviously, we see Brent coming into the fold. Now, I don't know if people remember. Remember when Divine was on Brent, yeah? And Alexis said, obviously, he's a bit too laid back for me.
Brent now. Divine?
Brent and I have a very nice connection. We do. We talk. We have great conversation. We laugh.
Sparks are flying?
Sparks are flying. So, yes.
Okay.
But he's very laid back.
So at that point, were you trying to feel like Brent at that point? Because we know you obviously went on a date and everything, and you know that Brent obviously, showed a little bit of interest, but man was very laid back. You decided to say obviously he was too laid back for you, yeah? Now all of a sudden he's now first choice. Why? Because, or you even said by her own words, was he's now the best choice because of the fact that London has now bowed out. Now, one thing I would say about Alexis, she's a very conniving, very cunning, very smart, very elegant with it as well too. Very mad at the same time. Very prideful, very egotistical player of this game. And you need to have those traits if you're going to play the game of games. And that's the honest truth. I know people don't like it, but I keep saying it. If you're going to play this game of games, there is an ego that needs to be played with it. There is a sense of ego that needs to be played with it. You need to have that pride, or you can't play this game. Do you understand? Because it's pride that covers the heart, because we see with the heart. It's the pride that covers the heart that stops people from moving correct. You get me? When guys are playing the game with girls, the reason why they don't feel no way towards a girl is because pride has covered the heart. And so now they don't feel certain emotions towards a certain girl when they play them. So you need that pride in order for you to play this game correctly. Now, when it comes to Brent and Alexis, it was interesting when Alexis was talking to London, because obviously at this section from the last episode, we see Brent walk away. Yeah, and this is when I really knew that Alexis is just using Brent, because at the point when London came to talk to her, she could have said, "Sorry, I'm with Brent at the moment, and I'm not talking to you." Yeah, and that would have backed Brent and also backed her point. But guess what she did? She said, "Yeah."
Nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to me and Alexis, you got to stay out of our business.
It's all good, bro.
I've been the one that hadn't been
You got it.
coming over, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't mind talking. And the reason why she did that was because when Brent walks away now, Brent doesn't get the accolades from her. He doesn't get the reassurance from her. What he gets is nothing. All he gets is an idea that, okay, this girl didn't say anything towards me. Okay, cool. But what happens is she gets full ability to withdraw power from what's going to happen in situations. It's a power move. So what she actually does and says,
I've meant, and I've stated that. And I'll state that in front of everybody.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying, and I'm just saying,
High five. I'm done with this conversation.
oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
right? At that point, she made a power move, and what she did was then allow herself to then be able to move London away. That power play then gave her the sanctity of mind as she won the battle between herself and London. Yeah? Then she went back to her Brent and sat down. And now when I saw that, I said, oh, Brent probably wouldn't have seen it like that maybe, or maybe he has seen it like that, but he's also playing the game too. He's just taking it the ride as it comes. But if he hasn't, then this is a very scary trait to see in somebody if you really like them, because this person does not retaliate in terms of liking you the same way. What was interesting was that seeing them on the bed, seeing him on the bed. Now, we know later on that we find out they were sleeping in the same bed, but what was interesting was, for me, was actually how he was laying on the bed, yeah? Because he was laying with his feet off the bed and laying next to her, and I thought to myself, you know when you have a guy that's getting close to you or a girl that's getting close to you, but you don't want them to get too close, because remember, you've got to maintain the composure, you've got to maintain the control, you've got to maintain the power of the relationship to benefit you the way that you want it to benefit you. There's certain things that you don't allow the person to do. Now, when I do my observations, when I used to do a lot of stuff, when I was younger, I used to test out theories that I'm feeling that. So there are certain girls that will allow me into their space. I can give them a hug, but I can't get into their space. Meaning that, okay, they might get a hug, they might allow me to give a hug, but when it comes to the flirting aspect, they don't want to do it with me, because for them that's a level too far. For instance, I may come round to a girl's house and we can catch two jokes, but she will never allow me into the bed. Why? Because that's a level too far. We can banter, make sexual jokes, and I don't know if you've noticed this ever, there are people that make sexual jokes of you, and as soon as you make it back, they retaliate, they recoil. Whoa, relax. But they can do it to you. Be very careful with those type of people. Be very careful. They are people who play the game and only want them to play the game. Yeah? You're not playing two ways. So sometimes when I see certain people do that, especially because I work in the office, innit? I watch people's behavior, and I see certain people playing this type of game where they flirt with the individual. As soon as the person flirts back with them, they're like, whoa. So if I see that from a female, yeah, I end the game. We're not playing that game. You're not going to ever use me, because I know the game already. I know this game. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not the forefather of it. There are many people who have done it before me. I just know the game. So I'm not going to ever play it. So I'm saying to you, as my audience, when you see that, and many of you know because you feel this when it happens to you, you see that somebody's flirting with you, like they can phone you, and this is nothing that happens. Sometimes it'll be a case of, you meet a guy or you meet a girl, whoever you are watching, and for instance, they may talk in person, but whenever you try to call them, they don't pick up the phone, they don't text. This is me, by the way. They don't pick up the phone, they don't text. Why? Because you're getting into that personal space. And that's not how. I don't want to let you into that part of my life. You're entering into a space I don't want you to enter. Sorry, I need control over the proceedings between us two. Back up. Yeah. So whenever you see there's not a two-way process, or you see that the person always calls you, but when you call them they're never available, then that right there and then, you don't need that person. Do you understand? Because that person wants control of proceedings. Do you understand? I know this because I've done it. So I know the ego and I know the mentalist game that we're playing. I call it the ego mentalist game. I said it to you in the first episode that we did this today. So I see that also with Alexis and Brent. So when I saw him lying on the side of the bed, that's what it felt like to me. So although he slept in the bed, when I saw that scene, because we only saw that scene, we didn't see them sleep in the bed, we just saw that scene, it looked like, whoa, didn't look right. Not only that, when they were talking, Alexis fails to pay him eye contact, which is really interesting because it's not like she's in an awkward position. She's lying on her back or side or whatever, but she could look at him and throughout the conversation they're having, she looks up to him 1 or 2 times, but main focus of her eye contact is away from him, which is really interesting, because it wasn't like he was doing all the conversation. Like oftentimes when someone's talking, they're the ones that are looking away because it can be very intense when you're looking at somebody and talking. But the person who's listening oftentimes looks at you. But I didn't see that from her. And remember again about the eye contact that Alexis always gives. To see that, I was concerned. I was like, okay, she's just kind of maintaining a little bit of the distance between the two of them. Okay, cool.
You feeling in this whole process?
My purpose going to the cabin was to get some clarity.
As the weekend came to an end, where did you sleep?
I slept in Alexis's room.
So you did get some clarity.
I would say so.
She make it to the top of your list?
Absolutely.
So I mentioned about the dinner, and obviously, that's when Brent obviously said, he had clarity, and then he mentioned obviously that he slept in the bed with Alexis. Now, this was such a great power move again by Alexis, in the terms of being a game, because she really used Brent to her advantage. So she knew, and you can calculate certain people's moves and their behaviors. She knew that Brent would say something if asked a question. And Brent boldly says that, I slept in the bed. And as he says that, what do you think is going to happen to London? And you see London nervously tapping the table with his fingers, right? It hit him, and he admits it, he's done. Why are you done, London? What, because somebody slept in a bed? Fam, come on, why are you done? Really, why are you really done? You're done because the game is done. You're done because you're feeling embarrassed. And that's the honest truth. Like, we play this game until your eyes, like someone said an analogy in the comment section a few episodes back. It's like you have 2 plates of ice cream and one's melting. If you don't eat any of them, they're both going to melt, right? But when one melts quicker than the other, you got to look at the other one. And that's what he's done. One melted quicker than the other. All right, I'll go after the other one then. All right? And, for him too, because he's playing the game as well, he got played. And that's painful. Yeah? That's painful too. You don't want to be embarrassed by somebody else. You don't want to be embarrassed by the opposite sex. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially for guys, there's a lot of ego in that, where it's like, how can a girl play you? You know what I mean? You don't want to have that situation. So when Brent mentioned that obviously he slept in a bed, it was a one-up on London. So much. Alexis started laughing and smiling. Why? Because she knows that information has travelled to London without her saying anything. Which makes, do you know what I mean? So it's not like she's now even forcing to make it look like I'm making you jealous. It's a bit like if I go to I remember when I was young, guys, when I was dating, and there was a situation between me and the girl or whatever, and I was out in the club, and obviously I dance a lot, right? I dance a lot, and when you see me dance, I draw quite a lot of people to me, because when I dance, I want to bring people into dance too. I make people feel comfortable to dance, you understand? So this night, like normally I dance anyway, but this night I made sure I was going to stunt hard with the dancing. I was going to draw people in, you understand? When I danced, I was drawing certain gal in, and I was even dancing just doing a little move. Normally I back off in it, because I got a girl in it. But my girl was in a place where I didn't care from. I started to dance with the girl, right? And all of that was to show her, don't flip about, fam. Man, get out of here, you understand? Right? Because it was all about show, right? Now, actually, what I did, I didn't actually have to force it. The girls came to me to dance. So I didn't have to force it. Now it wasn't a case of Kojo went after. No, this is a case of they came to me. I'm that saucy, they came to me. Same thing with Alexis and Brent. I'm that saucy, my man told you that he slept in the bed. I'm just that saucy, I'm sorry. And that makes the other person feel a certain way. Like they've got what? Options. Because we're talking about the power.
Trying to make me jealous? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not trying to make you jealous now. Definitely not. Definitely.
Better not be.
But my connection with London is now in question. So I decided to put on my snake skin mini skirt.
All right. Sexy mama.
I kind of wanted to make London jealous in the process.
As well, because obviously in the last episode she said she's not trying to make London jealous. In this episode she admits to want to make London jealous. So it's like, okay, why you want to make him jealous? Because you care. That's the whole point. The reason why you want to make him jealous because you care, right? And sometimes people want to make people jealous not because they actually care, but because they want to get a one-up, right? So I believe that's both parts of Alexis. She wants the one-up, but also she cares about London. She cares. When I say care, she wants London. Why? For her ego, for her scalp. Yeah, a bit like the reindeer and antelope on the wall, right? Like the hunter's trophy. Yeah. So when she hunts for him and gets his head, that's a trophy, right? So for her, you know, she said about this in the last episode, I'm not trying to get him to be jealous, but this episode she changed it. I wanted to make him jealous. And it's again, why is the focus when it's meant to be on Brent focused on London? Because Brent is just a pawn in the game. Do you understand? And so when Brent said about the fact he sits in the bed, it was such a perfect combination and storm of what you call the player's player. You know what I mean? The game's game. You understand? Yeah. It's almost like, the perfect storm is almost like if a player was cheating on his girl, yeah, and one girl out the blue came in and tried to chirp him while he was on road, and his girl happened to be around, and he rejects the girl in front of his girl, like, no, sorry, I've got a girl, blah, blah. It was a by chance storm thing, you know. Like, he never made for this girl to come to him. The girl came to him, and he gets to show his girl, actually, I'm loyal. And now your girl's bamboozled because she's like, actually, a girl came up to him on the street, and he never accepted it. Wow, he must be loyal. No, he's a dickhead, he's not. Perfect storm happened. He was able to showcase that, you know what, boom, I'm loyal.
It's you, beautiful. How you doing? I'm so good.
You look good.
You too. You smell good too. Mm-hmm.
So interesting, when they had their actual dinner, their talk, Brent and London, quite interesting again, their hug was quite interesting. You know how I always pay attention to hugs. Actually, Brent actually moved his hand up and down her back a little bit when they were hugging. And the closeness and intimacy was formed here was much different to when they were hugging for the perfume. The length of the hug was greater, and they spent a bit more time in each other's embrace compared to when they were hugging before the perfume session that they had, which again has shown, which shows obviously again the greater increase in intimacy, great increase in terms of attraction and how they feel towards one another, and the comfortability as well around each other. You know what I'm saying? Hugs do show that show a level of comfortability between the two individuals who decide to embrace, you understand? So that was the first thing I noticed. And also as well, he did something similar to what he did with Divine, which is that he paid a compliment. Said obviously looking good, something else as well along the line. So I saw that he was comfortable. He's now bringing himself out of the shell of where he was beforehand, and starting to play a bit more of a game, you want to say, and being that bit more adventurous with his behaviour. She mentioned about the fact also as well being noticed by him, and that it mattered that he noticed her, etc, etc. And what was quite interesting, I think because the way that the game gets played sometimes, you know, that was an internal thought that she had, and she actually exposed it. There was no need for her to say that. In a sense of, I feel like she, almost like when she said that, you know, you noticed me, again, she's kind of spilling out a little bit of apparent honesty and transparency about, you've noticed me, and that mattered. Again, it's to kind of draw out the tiger in him, to draw out the hunter in him. So that comment was actually, I guess, an intentional comment rather than actually being a genuine comment of her being that he's interested in her. I also believe that, you know, once he said obviously that, you know, being interested in me, that it's good that you're interested in me in the sense of the fact that, again, it's ego. It's all about the ego being fulfilled and being pumped up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she wants. So that was interesting to see that as well. And when she mentioned about the fact that
Already have stronger, but let's just be real.
Yeah.
I'm in second place.
you know what, I'm aware that, you know, I'm kind of second choice here, Again, I want to put it to you. When Alexis goes to explain, notice that her eyes go up first. She struggles to get some words out, and then she starts.
Connection with London, right?
Yeah.
And so that you made me question that.
Right? Because she's not 100%, this is not coming from the heart dome, you understand? This is coming, and oftentimes when something's difficult to say, you look away before you start your conversation. Because it's difficult to say, so you don't look in the person's eyes. So for her, when she looked out, I was like, that's odd, because like this is the girl that's trained on looking at people in the eyes. But you see that she looked up, and then she begins to explain, but stuttering first. And I said, okay, what you're explaining right now about Brent being your choice ain't true. That's not the truth. He is your choice by default because of what London has done, not because you chose him. Because otherwise you'd be able to say that confidently. You wouldn't have to look up and then look at him. But you looked up, just like you did with Divine later on in the episode, because you knew that what you were saying was a whole lot of baloney. Yeah? The truth was that he was a default. He was default. That's the truth. Honestly, that is the truth. Which is that she was doing damage control. Which is to try and limit the amount of damage that's happened in the past few days and weeks concerning the fact that you wasn't interested in Brent at first, and now you are. So a lot of times people do this in relationships where they need to damage control, limit the damage that's happening. Like for instance, if a guy, was paying too much attention to one girl, it didn't work out, and then he comes back, or a girl does that, and they're like, oh no, it wasn't like that. You know what? You know what? Rather than actually just being honest, let me be frank with you. Rather than just being frank with you and just saying, you know what? I knew you had great qualities, and I knew you was this and that, but the other person just kind of just had my attention at that moment, and I didn't want to give you my attention at the time because I felt like I should go here. Let me be very honest. Let me be very honest and just say to you, look, I don't think we should jump into a relationship or anything like that, but we'd love to be friends with you first and kind of see where things go if you're willing to. That gives a person an option, and actually what that makes that person feel like is actually I'm not a second choice, in the sense of I've come back to you and you're smoking. Because what makes you really feel like second choice when someone tries to smoke you lies, bro? Like, you know the ones where the person goes, and they smoke you bare lies. Rather just being honest, let me be honest with you. Like, at the time I was feeling him. And yes, we were having conversations, but because I was already ahead of him already, I decided to just kind of see where it went. It didn't work out, I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't work out. And actually, because I had a connection with you, I decided to pursue that with you now and see where it's going. Look, let me tell you something. A lot of honesty is so much better. Now, it gives a person an option to actually just say, do you know what? I rate the fact you've been honest. And actually, do you know what? Maybe not. Maybe I don't want to do this, or maybe I want to do this. Rather than waiting like 6 months down the line, and actually what the person does is then they're always thinking about the fact that I'm second choice, second choice, second choice, second choice. And actually what happens is the person just second guesses themselves and just moves mad. Do you know what I mean? So I know about that, because when it's insecurity, when it gets to you, insecurity is just going to just lace you. And that's a point for you guys. Never be somebody's second choice the way this has happened. You can understand when somebody decides that, okay, cool, do you know what, that didn't work out, and I'm being honest with you, that didn't work out, and I'm actually here because I know we had a connection, and explains how they feel a certain way. They shouldn't pretend as if I've always been feeding you and da 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 da. Let's be honest. I wasn't feeling you as much as I was feeling that person, actually, and to be honest, I didn't want to touch base with you because I was already ahead of this person. That's why. Boom. That's it. Do you understand? She said, obviously, when they were talking, when London and her were talking, and he turned his head and he said, "Do you want to talk? Do you want to go away? Whatever." Da, da, da. She said, "Obviously, thank you for supporting me. You know what? At that time, like a friend." And I was like, "Yay! This girl has friend zoned him, and he does not know." Because what do you mean I'm supporting you as a friend? Like, and I know friendship is the best foundation. Don't get twisted. But we weren't friends. I was feeling you, so we were never friends, really. Do you know what I mean? So where does friendship come into all of this? And I think that's quite interesting. So when she said that, I said, oh boy, she's friend-zoned Brent, man. And she's shown again her hand that Brent is a pawn in her game. Like, she's not really feeling him. He's a good option, but it's not the option she wanted. And that is a problem, because she will never be able to settle for Brent. Because it was always London who she never want, like that. So long as the ego she has, she will never live it down that she couldn't get London and she settled for Brent. She will never live it down. So if you're in a relationship like this where you've experienced somebody who wanted somebody else so badly, and then they come to you, more than likely they're never going to live it down with you, because you are the happy medium and not the happy that they wanted.
I'm really digging you.
That's good to hear. You're making me blush.
Good.
And then to top it off, he said, obviously, I'm digging you, yeah? I'm digging you. And she didn't respond with, I'm digging you too, or I'm feeling you too, or I'm liking you too. She just said, you know what, it's good to hear that. She sucked in the compliment, and that was it. It's all over, Jackie. That's it. Finished. For nil. What? Are you mad? After my man said all of that, zoop! So all the man said that, you're going to just lift him up and dump him again. Woo! Brent, I feel for you, cuz. I feel for you. So, yeah, it was interesting to see that as well. It was interesting to see that as well. And just to see that from Alexis and Brent. But it's interesting as well, like I said, like, that she didn't respond to the I'm digging you or I'm kind of feeling you kind of bar. And actually responded. And that's something I want to say to you guys. Listen, remember I told you about PEW? Yeah, you ain't got no minerals. PEW. I told you, position expectation 1. Once your position is established, I like you, then you say, what's your expectation? My expectation is, I want to progress us forward. Then you ask them, what do you want? Now, if the person says, I don't want to progress us forward, yeah, and says maybe, listen, maybe